Yes. And you're good, Rebecca. Do you want me to start? Okay. Excellent. Good. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Coffee Talk Tuesday. Mr. Baesler was just asking us how long we've been doing these, and it's been a long time now, just as long as the pandemic has been going, I guess, isn't it? We've had lots of great guests during the last few months, and today we're very excited to have Mr. Baesler with us. He obviously the owner of Baesler's Market, but also a member of our board of directors here at Westminster Village, in case some of you may not have known that. He's new to our board, and we're very happy to have him and all of his expertise, contributing to some of the decisions that go on here at Westminster. But today we're really just going to focus on the market, because it kind of came into my mind as I was thinking about our fourth Tuesday is called Around the Haute. And we try to connect on the fourth Tuesday with individuals who are, have projects going on, or business owners and things just to give you all an update on what's going on, outside your home and in our greater community. But as with the holidays upon us, I just thought of Baesler's Market and how crazy it must be, and to run that ship this time of year. I joked in an email that I sent out last night to remind all of our attendees about how, probably nobody has more on his plate right now, except maybe Santa, than Bob Baesler. And so welcome this morning, and we're excited to have you.
Well, thank you. And as far as the fourth Tuesday for your coffee talk, of course, the fourth Thursday of every year of November is Thanksgiving, and maybe the lack of attendees is that it's everybody knows Thanksgiving and what it involves, and maybe there is some disappointment to some degree about with the residents that and I don't blame them, because there's just a lot of people right now are disappointed with the holiday and the inability to see the people they normally see. But in our business, these are probably the three busiest days in the grocery business: the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before Thanksgiving. A couple days before the 4th of July is busy, the Christmas, the whole week before Christmas. But the three busiest days in the year for most grocery stores are these 3 days. And this year has proven to be the same, even though the biggest change that I can see is that most people are having just their immediate family, and that's maybe just the people that lived in that particular house. So instead of wanting a 20-pound turkey like normal, they want a 10 to 12-pound turkey. And fortunately, things work out, seems like, although I'm sure a lot of times you think, man, how can it get any crazier? But we had an order that we've had every year. We have to order turkeys back in the spring. And we've had an organization that's about 10 to 12-pound turkeys every year, like, I think over 150 turkeys. Well, and so we have to order those in the spring, and assuming they were going to have whatever they were going to do, well, they canceled their deal that they were going to have this year. So we had all these small turkeys. And so initially we thought, oh gosh, that was disappointing, because, you can't send them back. But the demand for small turkeys has been greater than it's ever been. I always, on Sundays, I go to Fresh Time, I go to Walmart, Meijer, Kroger, and I talk to whoever will talk to me. I mean, managers or whatever, and every one of them were concerned that they just didn't have enough small turkeys, that they had, they had big turkeys, and we've jokingly, when yesterday we had a lady, she wanted a 20-pound turkey, and the closest we could come was 22-pound turkey. We recommend we cut one of the legs off to get it down to that. She didn't think it was that funny, but anyway, her husband did. So anyway, but the small turkeys and the smaller portions of everything. So fortunately, I guess for us, business is still good. And in some respects, I'm almost of the opinion that people are maybe buying a little more, because let's say if they were going to their aunts or uncles or grandparents, maybe they brought one dish, or maybe they didn't bring anything. And now this year they're having to do all those at their, in their home. So anyway, it's, fortunately for us, it's been normal in some respects, even though everything else is abnormal.
Go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
Okay, I was about ready to text you, Kate. Can I fire off a couple questions?
Go for it.
Bob, when I guess what I was wondering is, did the turkey farmers, did they see this coming at all? And so I've got a couple of questions. One, did they see this coming? And as far as what was available, as far as purchasing turkeys, how did this change as far as pricing and sizes available? And then two, to your point about, maybe people buying more because they're having to host their own versus, sharing with the family. Are you seeing also more in the disposable type containers? Because, while I might not be getting together with my parents, I still am going to take them over some of my Thanksgiving meal. Have you noticed any trends in that respect?
I'm sure that that is the case, because what you're saying is absolutely right. Those particular items I've not noticed. In our business, since this whole COVID thing hit in March, the availability of so many items is just there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, some items we can get. I mean, we couldn't get flour for a while, then we got some flour, but we can't get all the flour. It's that way with almost every category. And it's my understanding that most of these manufacturers are faced with the same situation that we're faced with, and you guys are faced with people quarantined. The problem in the manufacturing facilities where they have to social distance, where they used to be, Gardner pies. We haven't been able to get any pies for the last month, and somebody said the company was closed, and I called them. They're out of Ohio, and they said no, they have to social distance, where they used to have people shoulder to shoulder making these pies. Their production is half of what it used to be. And so, and you take that times, the General Mills and all these different organizations. I mean, it causes to where these shortages or lack of having those items, it's pretty prevalent in a lot of categories. Now, fortunately though, consumers are starting to accept that, maybe they want disposable containers, and if we don't have them, they'll take, Ziploc bags. Well, this will work. I mean, people seem to be more willing to accept what's available than to, this time last year, if you didn't have some of those items, it was like, what in the world, what kind of grocery store are you trying to operate here? Well, that was pretty long-winded to answer your question about disposable containers, but I'm sure that's the case. And on the turkey farmers, I don't think anybody predicted. I think, and I don't know the process from the time they hatch the eggs or take these, and I know turkeys grow pretty fast. It's my understanding they grow almost a pound a day, or is that right? They've got a tremendous, for the amount of food they eat to the weight they put on, it's one of the best meat producing items there is. And so I think, and the fact that turkeys are frozen for the most part, now we do have fresh, I think that they felt like they would have them, they did not cut back. I don't think anybody anticipated having a smaller turkey. It just, unfortunately for us, because if we tried to order any more small turkeys, we couldn't. And I know in talking to the meat manager at Fresh Time and at Meyer, they tried and they could not order anymore. So it's just fortunately that this organization canceled a small turkey order.
I suppose it's kind of like everybody. We thought that by now we'd be out of this. And so
Yeah.
it couldn't have been hard to plan for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in your Baesler's Market this year marks 126 years. I did the math. Does that sound right?
That's close. Yeah. I mean, now that's right. We were 125 last year. So yeah, this time last year we were celebrating that anniversary.
Yeah. So in all those years, and obviously as a fourth generation operator, you know, you've heard all of the stories from all the years. Do you think that your family ever experienced anything like this in years past?
You know, I don't believe so. I think the Great Depression, which, you know, when things were on allocation and you couldn't get a lot of products in the grocery business. You know, my grandfather's been gone for a number of years. So really back then I wasn't even that interested to even talk to him about those kind of things. You know, my dad, I don't believe had anything like this, but I'd say the Great Depression had to sort of rival this. And, you know, a lot of those people, well, although that would have been, you know, 29, yeah, most of the, I mean, to be 100 years old, you know, so, or so, and then as I said, so many, well, out of 22, there's 21 of them have gone, have either closed up or so. Yeah, it's but the independent retailer in general has been under the gun. We've just been blessed to still be in business. I guess I'd have to say, but never Rebecca.
It looks like our marketing sales office's internet may have spiked for a moment. We lost both of those, Rebecca and Kate, for a moment, but they're back. Yeah. Does Baesler's, you know, I guess, I mean, you all have a fairly large kind of already prepared deli with different kind of sides and soups and you know salad bar, you name it. How busy do you see a change in I guess sales in that respect with the Thanksgiving holiday? Are people's sides for Thanksgiving Baesler sides that are already pre-made, or what?
Yeah, we've sold out of our Thanksgiving dinners, which is the turkey and the sides and all. And we've actually, and we had about 10% more than we had last year, but we have sold out of that and the sides. And so, yeah, that is, again, somebody that if there's only 2 or 3 of them at home, they don't want to make a big deal of stuffing or any of those items. So now the COVID has affected our self-serve in the store considerably. Our self-serve salad bar, our self-serve hot bar. We started providing gloves right off the bat for those items, and we will always offer gloves. I mean, going forward, we'll never go back to where people can just pick up the utensils. And but there's a number of people that just aren't interested in getting food themselves. They want it already packaged or already to where they can just pick it up. So self-serve donuts. I mean, we've been attempting to try to figure out how to resolve some of those issues. I mean, Walmart puts each donut in a plastic container. It's probably about a 15-cent plastic container. And, you know, I mean, that's an expensive way to go. And we have people that get concerned about us using too much packaging. When we had styrofoam on the salad bar, we had people that would not buy a salad because styrofoam, of course, is not recyclable or anything. And so they would not buy a salad. So we had to go with recyclable containers. So, but anyway, yeah, it has been, that part has been very good, and probably better than what we had anticipated to some degree.
Last question for me, then I'm gonna go mute for a little while. But with any of the sides that you all prepared, are those? Do you ever get? I guess how frequently are you asked for the recipes, and is that something that Baesler shares?
Oh, we would, yeah, we would share if they wanted the recipe. And since we're all friends, I mean, I'll tell you that an awful lot of the items are we purchase them already made, and again, the advantage to that is the recipe is always the same. We do make a few things ourselves. The problem that you run into is the consistency. You've got somebody that's making it and thinks it should have a little more salt or a little more of this, and keeping that consistent each time is extremely hard. And so we have found, and that the quality of some of these prepared refrigerated items, now prepared refrigerated, seem to have much better quality than prepared frozen items that you thaw out. I think the quality, and just about all of our, very few items are prepared frozen. I mean, and that we thaw out and then serve it. And I'm sure in your food service, some of those items are the same. And so, yeah, we could give you the recipe, or we could give you where we buy it from.
Give you the SKU number.
Yeah. So yeah, where you get that. So
we find here that when people ask for a recipe, our kitchen, maybe the kitchen team looks at us like, well, I make this for 200 people. It's hard to pare it down to like a household.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering a lot about the technology side of things, as I kind of look at, your Facebook and website, obviously the ordering online and all of that. I mean, you almost have had to hire a whole IT department to run a grocery store these days. And I wonder how much of that you had in place before the pandemic, and then how much have you added since then to accommodate folks?
We started trying to do curbside back in October of last year. This time last year, we actually started curbside, and because we knew it was coming. Walmart had been into it for a while, and Kroger to some degree, and so we and it was about 2% of our business. The problem with curbside for an independent is that we've got almost 55,000 items, and so making sure the pricing is right. We probably need an IT department, which we don't have, but it actually became 20% of our sales right in the heat of this COVID back in March and 1st of April. 20% of our sales were curbside and delivery, and then it had dropped back somewhat, but now it's started to gearing back up here in the last couple of weeks because of all the COVID increase in COVID positive cases. So you're right. We probably do need an IT department, although we don't have one. And we do have a lady that she's been here since she started in high school, and she graduated from Indiana State, and she's been here about 8 years, and she's been in charge of that. Of course, we have a third party company, Fresh Op, which is the IT part of it, but there's still quite a bit on our side that has to, for it to be accurate and to be working like it's supposed to. But yeah, I'm just thankful that she's here and that she has been willing to take hold of the curbside, because it is a labor intensive part of the business too. So.
Have you seen an increase in the delivery? I know that's something that a lot of our residents take advantage of.
Yeah, we've delivered forever. Actually forever. I can remember I was 10 years old, riding around with a fellow from Indiana State on deliveries. We quit. We didn't publicize it. Because we weren't coming out. We mainly did it for people that were shut in, or somebody that maybe had hip surgery and they couldn't get out, or regular customers. we didn't put it on our vans and say, you know, we deliver and all that, because in all honesty, before we got the curbside, it was all pencil and paper, the old fashioned way of taking an order and trying to do that and then walk around the store gathering it up. There was no way that we were coming out on it. I know even to this day, Publix, which is a phenomenal company, Publix down in Florida, 1,000+ stores, I know the CEO, I heard him speak, and he said there is no way that a grocery store can take where they have a customer come in the store with their list, go through the store, pick up their items, go through the checkout, and take them home, and they do that for free, and that we can do that and charge $10. He said that we'd lose our shirt, and so Publix has been very slow, and they use Instacart, which is a third party. We'd considered Instacart. The problem with it is that you're dependent on the person. They represent the store, but this Instacart person might be rude and when they go through the store, they buy the items for the customer, and they might not be that particular what they pick up, and it reflects on the store, even though it's so. We've sort of stayed clear of the Instacart, and it supposedly is about an 18% surcharge, you know. And in the grocery business, we're sort of, well, last year the national average on supermarkets was 0.6%. So it always said it was a penny, you know, 1% on was net profit in the grocery store, which is extremely low. And so giving Instacart 18%, I don't know how you would come out, but
it's very interesting. I know, I mean, I'm not an online grocery shopper. I know Sarah uses those kinds of services a lot and likes them, but yeah, that's quite a charge to.
Well, in Instacart, it would be, yeah. We charge $10 for delivery and $5 to gather it up. Now, see, Kroger is free and Walmart's free. So again, you know, when I go out to Walmart on Sunday morning, they'll have 15 people picking orders. So it has become a big part of their business, probably more so than anybody else in town. Meijer's not really got into it. And Kroger is, but not to the degree that Walmart's doing it. So,
well, if it's any consolation, if Walmart has to do a substitution, they usually get the substitution wrong.
Well, we've been known to do that ourselves. So, I mean, in all fairness, although we try to have, I mean, and their problem, in all honesty, they can't hire enough people to handle their curbside, and you know, we all know that you know, and it's probably in food service, probably some as food service, that's not third party, the Cisco or anybody, or Sodexo. They don't do your food service there. You do it yourself, right? Food service.
Right. Our team members, yes.
Yeah. And so finding good people, it's harder and harder. I mean, in all of our businesses. So and they're so on the Rebecca, to your point, it's just hard to.
I've gotten some weird items. Apple Snapple instead of Gatorade. That one was weird.
Well, that one's, yeah, but it's still a liquid. I mean, so.
Or what are some other weird ones? I've gotten Alfredo or spaghetti sauce instead of Alfredo sauce.
Yeah, okay.
They substituted, and I was like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, they kind of need to know the product, don't they?
Yeah.
You mentioned having 270 employees. That's a lot. What are some of those positions that maybe are behind the scenes that we don't know about?
Well, I mean, you know, most of them. I mean, the different departments. It's just, and you know, we're open. We used to be 24 hours, and now we're 6 to 10. We adjust those a little bit with COVID. We only brought back to 9 o'clock, but we don't have that many office people. I mean, we have like a lady, 2 different women that are in the office for bookkeeping and accounting and that kind of thing. But everybody else is pretty much out on the floor doing something. So it's just, our deli, we have, I think, almost 40 employees in the deli. And because the deli part of our business is exceptional. For a grocery store to do the kind of sales we do in deli is sort of unheard of. I had a friend of mine from high school. He worked for Myers in Indianapolis, and one day he came in the store, and we had like 12 people in the deli working. And he was telling me he knew we were losing money in the deli because he knows Meyer, as big as his store was in Indianapolis, they never had more than 2 people in the deli. And I agreed with him. I know that, we were losing money in the deli, but I wasn't going to argue with him. But it takes that many people. I mean, when I go to Meyer on Sunday mornings, they've got 1 person in the deli because they just don't do the amount of business that we fortunately do. And I think the only reason we do that kind of business because we have so many people. I'd always thought, unfortunately for us as an independent, we can think differently. Kroger, Meyer, Walmart, they'll tell a department, well, you get your sales up and then we'll get you some more help. And, we've always taken, if we find the right person, we hire somebody, whether we need them or not. And if you've got the right person working in the department, you can actually increase your sales. And that's sort of the secret that we've had. And fortunately, Kroger and them still depend on their sales getting up before they'll add help. And you can never get your sales up. If you got 1 person trying to take care of 3 people or 2 people trying to take care of 6 people, you can never increase. People will walk away and they'll say, oh, never mind, I really don't need it, So
yeah,
anyway.
I agree. I think that deli feature too is just like there's a trust thing there, when you're handling the food and it's uncovered and that kind of thing. I mean, I think you have to have a real kind of relationship and build some trust there with those people to make that go really well.
Yeah.
It just sort of like you're experiencing just with the whole COVID impact in general, is that you saw some people kind of avoid maybe the salad bar and things because they're going more toward the prepackaged stuff. But I would think that your market survived that better than others just because of that strong relationship and that trust factor that you have.
Yeah, well, if there was anything that was going to keep me up at night or, would be the food safety. I mean, because that is a phenomenal, could be a phenomenal problem it could close a store up if you had an issue that was food safety related. And so, yeah, if there was anything, and we fortunately, although it's funny, like on we started in January, we started packaging. Boar's Head was not would not allow you to slice a head. Like if you go in some stores and they got turkey and all that sliced and it's in the case and they grab a handful or whatever. Boar's Head does not allow that. You have to slice it to order. And that's a good policy. But they also wouldn't allow you to slice it and package it and to sell it. Well, they changed their mind on that last year. And so we have a case that's got 1/2-pound packages of meat and cheese. And we started that in January. And people, and those sales, the overall meat and cheese sales are up like 30%. And it's mainly because of that. People will take a package of it much quicker than wait for the customer or for the employee to slice it. And they think it's more sanitary. I mean, they don't perceive that the employee was slicing the meat and putting it in the package. I don't know, it's just not registering with them. And they're buying it prepackaged, which fortunately we started it when we did. With the salad bar being down, we started packaging salads and having prepackaged salads so people can just grab that. And that's now represent over 15% of our salad sales is those prepackaged, in which we didn't have before. So yeah, people's, well, it's a combination of perception, but then also just time. People don't want to, a lot of people are in a hurry and they don't want to, sit there and do it themselves and just grab it and go. But I think a lot of it hinges around the COVID situation and thinking that chances of getting it a lot less. So.
and forgive me, Dan, if you asked this question, Dan, while we were kind of kicked off from our with a, I don't know, internet difficulties, I suppose. But here at Westminster Village, you know, we're going to be packaging up and delivering Thanksgiving meals to a lot of our residents in their apartments. And I know that you have the to-go meal option. Do you know right now about how many you have? Like, how many to-go meals are you sending out this holiday?
Well, I know on the full dinner, there's about 150 that we have, and that's considerably more than we had last year. As I said, I think we were like 125 last year with what we had planned on. Now, we could sell more this year if we could get them, but we can't. And now the number of sides, there's an awful lot of people that are just getting like the sweet potato casserole or getting, you know, just selected sides. So, and how many of those, I don't know. But, so.
Is it too late to place an order if somebody still wanted something? Sorry.
It could be, but I mean, I could go back there if one of you 5 are interested in something, I make it work. So,
special call.
Yeah, but you would have to call me because because if you call the deli, it might tell you that they wouldn't. But if you do need something, I would make sure you got it.
Oh.
So,
Bob, I was going to ask you, how many turkeys per year do you think your store sells? Or
well, we sold we probably sold 500 turkeys just to organizations, companies like GE Aviation. I mean, they bought 200 and some turkeys. Tyson Crump. I mean, a lot. Bemis. We have tried to talk a lot of companies into. Bemis used to buy turkeys, and we talked them into a food certificate because not everybody wants a turkey. The problem is when you give somebody a 18-pound frozen turkey, it's like, oh gosh, what am I going to do with it? I mean, if they're not having people over, we're going to try to talk GE into not doing a turkey next year because they just had a lot of people to not pick them up. And I think they don't have any place to put it. They don't want a turkey, and so altogether, I would say it's probably, in the 1,500 range as far as turkeys for us. And that's selling them at a cost. So what Walmart, Walmart did not match Kroger and Meijer. They're still 68 cents, which is still 50 cents under their cost. But now in our Linton store, Sullivan, yesterday we had a number of people coming in that were from Linton that Walmart had ran out of turkeys, and they were looking for turkeys, which that has happened before to where, Walmart a few years ago, they had a cheap price. They were cheaper than anybody, and they just every day they'd get a pallet of turkeys in, and people would come in. They had limit one, and in 15 minutes they'd all be gone, and then they'd come back the next day and they'd to get another pallet. They did not make very many people happy that go around. They were just too cheap on them, and people and they just kept running out. So yeah, sell 1,500 turkeys with 31-cent turkeys and 33-cent turkeys in the market is pretty crazy. But
I want to make sure, Rebecca, we answer questions for our folks who have either chatted something in. Do you have any questions from our guests?
I do. So I've actually had lots of questions, and fortunately I've been able to answer some of them. But one is, Alan made a comment that on Sunday, they were unable to get a 12-pound turkey, but they were put on the reserve list, and they are looking forward to hopefully getting a call from you.
Well, who is that?
Alan Russell.
Gonna get the hookup.
Yeah.
I know. It's the perks of joining Coffee Talk.
Well, we should have that. And of course, the other problem, I don't know. When did they call and say they couldn't get that?
Sunday.
Yeah. You don't have his number in front of you, do you?
Uh-oh.
You don't have his phone number in front of you, do you?
I can email it
okay.
to you.
Do, and I will call him. Yeah, we will get him that.
Good deal. What else?
Alan, please let me know if that's okay if I email that to Bob Baesler. I'm sure you don't mind. But just in case, please let me know that that's all right. And then Eileen Prose, not only does she want to let us know that thank you, I've enjoyed Coffee Tuesdays, but she also would like to thank Bob for always supporting nonprofit organizations with our community, and let everyone know that Baesler is part of 99% of fundraisers in Vigo County and surrounding counties.
Yeah, well, Eileen is
she's a
very
gracious.
Sweet lady, and I miss seeing her. Tell her I miss seeing her because she has the greatest smile, and yeah, she was in here regularly. So
she is hearing you and watching you as you say that.
Okay.
So,
okay, well, that's good.
And then Alan made a comment and said, another good reason to move to Westminster Village is our board members.
Oh, well, that's nice, Alan. I better find this turkey.
Right.
Tell Alan I bet I'll try to make it a fresh turkey, because right now, today's Tuesday. Yeah, though it's smaller turkey, getting it thawed out by Thursday. But we'll get him a turkey, and ideally it'd be fresh. So.
And then Alan has given me permission to give you his phone number.
Alrighty.
So it's actually, if you can see the Q&A, it's actually in there for you.
Alrighty.
I just don't want to say it out loud in front of everyone.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, very good.
And for you, so when I was in the other day and I picked up some flowers and a gift for my mother for her birthday and delivered it to her. But I noticed that you have a lot of local vendors, craftspeople and artisans who are making things and come to you and want the prime real estate in your store to sell things. How do you decide like what goes on the shelves and what doesn't? And I can't even imagine the pressure there.
Well, we try to sell it. I mean, if it's a local somebody, we've got a number of, we have a couple soap companies that are local soap, and then we have some local people that are making candles. We'll find or attempt to find room for them. We don't tell anybody no. Now, if we put it on, on the shelf and it doesn't sell, then that's one thing. We sell them or reorder, but just most everything we've ever bought from anybody locally has sold very well. The one thing that's amazing locally that we have up by the checkout, up by the customer service, we have a whole rack of books that are all local authors. And it's amazing how many books we have and how many are very good and how many sell very well that are local. And before COVID, we used to have book signings on a somewhat regular basis, and that always helped as well. But yeah, I'm amazed at the number of local authors we have. So to answer your question, no, we just put it on the shelf. I mean, we don't say, if they say, well, we don't ask them, and that goes with farmers. If they have corn or whatever, they say, well, I got to get $3 a ton. We don't say, well, we'll give you $2.50, or we just say whatever they say they have to sell it for. That's what, we mark it up from that. We don't tell them that we can't pay them that price. So it's and some of the people the books especially, they don't discount them to us. We sell them for what they sell them to us for. Now some do discount them, but which is really the way it probably should be. But anyway.
And you have, of course, you're fourth generation. So your son is also involved in the business, correct? And what kind of role does he play? And I mean, that's got to be something you're proud of, to have somebody to hand it off to.
Well, he enjoys the business, and I told Dan this story, but I didn't tell you the rest of you this. But it was about a year ago. We were at a conference down in Cincinnati, a grocers. It was actually Canadian Grocers, and this older guy at a reception the night before I was talking to, and I introduced Casey as the fifth generation Baesler's market. And he looked at me and he said, now, you know the sign of a successful grocer, don't you? I said, no, what's that? And he said, it's one whose children don't have to go in the business. So, so I apologized to Casey. I said, I guess there's a certain amount of truth to that, but, but I guess, you know, in some respects, it's neat that fifth generation. And, you know, I mean, I've come close 2 different times to ending the era of Baesler's market, where I made some lousy decisions. But anyway, fortunately, so far, we still are managing to survive. So, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice having him here.
What's next? What's your next thing? Are you
Well,
adding on somewhere or adding something new?
Yeah, well, we want to add a popcorn deal where we make the caramel corn and the whole deal. Right now, we just have a popcorn machine right as you walk in the door. But we quit selling cigarettes actually when this COVID thing hit, and cigarettes were it used to be a big part of the grocery business, and I don't know why grocery stores sell cigarettes, but most of them do, and we always did. We decided to quit selling it. 2 reasons. One, a year ago last summer, and I don't know if you remember, the CDC came in and told grocery stores to quit selling romaine. They told customers to quit buying it, restaurants to quit carrying it. And that cost the industry $160 million to eliminate romaine. And it was based on 32 people in the United States getting sick. 32 people got sick. Nobody died. 32 people got sick. And I actually told the news when they come and asked us about it, because I just want to put a warning sign up that 32 people in the country have gotten sick from romaine. And so sort of like cigarettes would say, you know, how many people died from cigarettes, but you still sell cigarettes. And I told the news, I said, you know, as my understanding, 480,000 people died directly related to cigarette smoking last year. But we're selling cigarettes. The 32 people got sick on romaine, we're throwing it away. And it was, the news didn't run that, which was probably good because that was sort of a smart alecky thing to say, but it was the truth. And so with this COVID, I mean, you know, our mission is enriching lives with good food and great people. And a lot of things that we're trying to do, you know, cigarettes, there's no part of that. I mean, we're talking about health and wellness and better for you and all these other things. So we eliminated cigarettes, and we had an awful lot of positive comments about it. I mean, on Facebook, where people were thanking us for doing it. I did have a lady come in the store and she said, well, I guess I won't be buying cigarettes there anymore. And I said, well, I know, I'm sorry. And she said, no, it's a good thing. She said, my husband died 2 years ago from throat cancer. And on his deathbed, I promised him that I'd quit smoking. And she said, I didn't. They said, when you announced you were going to quit selling them, I made up my mind. And she said it'd been a month and she didn't even want a cigarette. So I guess one good thing came out of it. And that was a long-winded way to tell you that we're taking that area where the cigarettes were and going to put popcorn. So that's, and we're going to do, I mean, it's going to be a regular popcorn shop. And when, as I said, and that's probably the newest thing that we're wanting to do. So anyway, I guess we're all in the mode of just surviving this COVID thing, and hopefully when this is over, it's hard telling what we'll all do. Besides be happy, I guess. But
well, if in your popcorn shop you mirror anything that is similar to like the Moose, is it Moose Munch? What's that?
Yes, Moose Munch.
Type premium type popcorn with the chocolate covered and with I will be making more trips from the south side of Terre Haute to show patronage to Baesler. Okay. So
you know, I think one of the best parts of Baesler's is the experience you get when you go in there. Mm-hmm. I remember as a child the M&Ms, the big display of M&Ms that you had, and there was something that made bread, like some sort of pita bread, and it was just fun.
You know, Well, that was Magic Pop. We still have that machine, but it used to be on the out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And made those rice cakes, and we have it. It's in the back, but yeah, we had a little girl one time when that was shooting those things out, those rice pops, because it had a acrylic. One little girl fell down. She was walking by it. As one shot out, and she thought it was coming at her, and she fell down. She didn't hurt herself, luckily. I mean, she was just a little girl, but yeah, it did create some excitement when it was on the floor. The fact was that when we made them about every 3 or 4 days, so it sat there not being in use much. So that's why we moved it to the back. But I had a friend that said the independent grocer, and what's a shame about the independent grocery industry that is basically around the country is closed up. A lot of communities don't have an independent retailer anymore. But he compared the independent grocery store to the water cooler of the community. So that and we do have people come in, and I've seen people at Kroger before and other stores, and more than once the reason, they always are apologetic because they see me in the store and want to know why I'm there, and they'll say, well, I was in a hurry and I wanted to get in and get out, because when I get to your store I see somebody I know and then I start talking and it takes me longer to get out of the store. So I guess that water cooler of the community does play in sometimes. So
I could see that. Go ahead.
I do have one more question. Alan said, where will that popcorn be? Which, if you've been to Baesler's and you know where the or I guess you might not know, Alan, where the cigarettes used to be because you're not from here. Yes, the service desk. But he wants to know, will you be delivering said popcorn?
Yes, we will do that. Yeah, we will do that. And hopefully right after first of the year, we will actually be, because we have to tear that area out and sort of go back and moose tracks. Is that what you said? Moose tracks, Dan? That would be our first item.
Moose munch, but moose tracks ice cream. That's another big.
Yeah.
That could be
Please
next.
let us all know when you do that, because I'll be there too.
All right.
Making big promises today. Oh my goodness. Oh, this has been awesome.
We are recording this, right? I mean, this has to be recorded.
I think Baesler's is more than just the water cooler of the community. I think, and I think a lot of people, have their favorite items, favorite experience, for so many reasons. It means a lot to so many people. Obviously the charitable aspect, that was one of the big things I hear people say when I talk to them here at Westminster about Baesler's, is how charitable your company is and that you are, and you've certainly done a lot for Westminster Village as well, with lots of awesome gift cards through the years, and we very much appreciate you still being in business and having and creating a company to carry on, and for your time and being here today. You just shared this is the busiest time of your year. So we appreciate very much your time, Mr. Baesler.
Well, you're welcome. I actually, we just got a couple minutes. I did deliver, or my son delivered, fruitcake to the, and I know fruitcake sort of gets a bad name because most people don't like fruitcake, but this, I delivered 18 grandma's fruit cakes. They're at the desk, and they are very good. I mean, you will change your mind on fruit cake after you try that. And if you're not happy with the fruit, so there's 18 of them. So if you've got 9 participants or whoever's on the call, they can have one for free if they go down to the desk. And then whatever's left, you can do whatever you want with them. And as I said, I was reluctant to do the fruit cake, but there's a few years ago. I talked Kathy because I knew they were good in the bakery to order them, and we did not sample them, but she ordered, I don't know how many cases. Well, then at Christmas Eve, we had all these fruitcake. And so rather than mark them down, which people don't want to mark down, if they didn't want them, regular price, they weren't really going to buy them at half price. So we gave them out to customers as they were, Christmas Eve, they're buying items and everybody's in a good mood. So we gave them away. And then the following year, she didn't order hardly any of them. Well, so many people that had tried them, then that year they wanted fruitcake. They wanted grandma's fruitcake because they'd had it and that was so good. So anyway, that's the story behind that. But I do have 18 of them there for you. I also had 4 $10 gift cards that you can have, because I was going to ask some questions, or I was going to, there's a lot of fun facts about Thanksgiving that a lot of you know, and some of you don't know, that I was going to give out for that. But you can take those and do something else with those. So, okay, because I'm sure you can always do something with those gift cards. So
we can always pass them along to our awesome team members here. Thank you very, very much.
All righty. All right. Well, I will get, right now, the only thing I've got to do is get a turkey for Alan, and after first year, I got to get moose munch for Dan.
You are like Santa Claus.
Is there anything else I'm supposed to do? Or that's the only thing I've got on my list. So, all right.
Think about that. Thanks, Bob, so much for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
all right.
Bob.
All right. See ya.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us.